Yes, it has been a journey. And I want to begin by saying what my dad always said. There's nothing new under the sun. What you're going to hear today is what you have heard, what some of you already know. For some of you it may be a refresher. But I want to begin by asking you, why are you here? If there's nothing new under the sun, why?
I'm fine. I'm here to be entertained.
You're here to be entertained.
I wanted to hone my skills.
You want to hone your skills.
I think you do.
That's a very good reason, and I wish I could say the same. Well, I know some of you are here because you want to take part in the speech contest, And I want to begin by asking you this question. Do you think it is really possible in 5 to 7 minutes with just 780 words? Do you think you can change somebody's life?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
5 to 7 minutes.
Yes.
And you're willing to take on that challenge?
I didn't say that.
But just think of it. Think of it. I mean, this is quite an undertaking. To change someone's life in 5 to 7 minutes with just about 780 words. Any of you have kids?
Yeah.
How often have you tried to do just that? Some have succeeded, sometimes you fail.
They don't listen for 5 to 7 minutes.
You can't even get them to listen for 5 to 7 minutes.
You need to concoct a Twitter message. It's 140 letters. But when you say a message, they can...
Yes.
140, just Twitter. Yeah, okay. Possible. But here's the upside. How long have you been a Toastmaster? Yeah.
25.
25 years. Yeah.
Since 96.
Okay. 27? Say 4, 13, 17? 17?
17.
Okay. Anybody else?
6 years.
6 years.
2 years.
Okay. This is how I want you to look at it. I can change somebody's life in 6 years and 7 minutes. 20 years and 7 minutes. You get it? So it is not just what you do in those 7 minutes. It's your body of work over a period of time. Are we in agreement? Some of you may have heard one of my speeches some time ago, Good, Better, Best. And that speech begins with the line, good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good becomes your better and your better becomes your best. And that is what I think it's all about. You're not entering the contest just to win. You're entering the contest to showcase your body of work over a period of time. And if you can really touch someone's life, inspire them to make a change, you know that you're doing something right. And that is what I want to help you with today. So let's begin by turning to the person next to you. I do believe after 9/11, You should never sit next to someone unless you know them. Introduce yourself. and just tell them about that speech. Let me put it to you this way. If you knew that your Toastmasters life was going to end today, after today, you're no longer allowed, you're banished from Toastmasters. This is your one and only chance to give that speech that you have always wanted to give, but was never had the courage to do it. I want you to turn to that person. I know it's your secret, so share that secret with them. 1 minute. Let's go. Time up. Time up. All right. So we're not in Vegas. So it doesn't have to stay in Vegas. The secrets.
Can we go to Vegas?
Let me hear. What are some of those secrets they shared with you? Spill the beans. Rat him out.
It's not really secret.
Huh?
He's telling me about his plan for the next speech for Tall Tale.
Tall Tale contest. And in 5 to 7, no, in a few words, what that speech is going to be all about?
I didn't go into that.
I didn't go into that. You see what I mean? Anybody else?
Share a secret. Joining heart and mind.
Joining heart and mind. And the objective is?
I don't know. To show people how to join their heart.
Anybody else?
Be true to yourself and follow your heart.
Be true to yourself and follow your heart. Okay. Great start.
I like what he said.
What he said? Rat him out. Rat him out.
Well, all I said is do whatever you do with passion as if there's no tomorrow.
Do whatever you do with passion, as if there will never be any tomorrow. And I love it. That is, yes. That is, you know, just last night I was looking at a movie that I wouldn't normally look at. But I was amazed after looking at that movie about the passion that person possessed. Tupac. I wouldn't normally look at that movie, but by accident I found myself looking at it. He died at age 25. And I thought this guy was just a thug, a gangster. But looking at his passion about the life that he was dealt and how he expressed himself through rap, I was just amazed. So, once you have this speech inside of you, how are we going to get it out? How are we going to get that message to your audience effectively? Well, it all begins with focus. Your focus. And the mistakes many of us make is by displacing our focus. Who should you focus on?
The audience.
The audience.
Your message.
Only
The message.
Your
the message. And what about you? Do you think if you are not worthy, people are going to listen to you? You're 600 pounds and you're telling me to lose weight. That happened to me a few years ago. I went to visit my brother in the islands and he said, boy, now he is about 600 pounds. And he said, you got to use a smaller plate. I was shocked. You know, he's coming. I convinced I was able to turn it around. He's losing weight now. But do you understand what I'm saying? You have to also focus on yourself. You have to focus because the audience is focusing on you, and you have to focus on the audience. but there's also the man in the middle, content. You have to have something to say. If you don't have anything to say, what did Mama say? Shut up. It's as simple as that. Okay? So the focus, energy, and intent are three of the things I believe, the three of the qualities, and we can go to the, I've written them down so to avoid you focusing on the sheet of paper. Okay? But those are the three qualities I believe that you should focus on when you're on the platform. Okay? Because the first thing you're trying to do is to gain your audience attention. And whatever you say after you gain the audience's attention will decide if they're going to continue to listen to you or if they're going to tune out. And the experts say you have 30 seconds. Now you see how tall that order is becoming? 5 to 7 minutes. Go back to 780 words to 800 words. 30 seconds. You drop the F-bomb after 30 seconds in the 30-second mark. Or you say something meaningful. Oh yeah, I could listen to some more. And now you have the attention. Now you have to hold on to that attention. Okay? So I do believe that the focus will be on you, whether you like it or not. And you have to focus on the audience. And then you have to have something for them that is relevant. Something they want to learn, something they want to get from you. Otherwise, all over. So what are the tools you're going to use? The tools. What tools do you use? Firstly, your voice. How many of you warm up before you give a speech? When I first started, I do that. Guy is crazy. He's weird. But do any of you do that? Do you warm up? Do you think it's important? Stretch the muscles, get the muscles working. The voice, yes, ugly faces. It's very important. Find a quiet spot and start working, because that's the instrument you're going to use. Have you ever gone to a concert about 2 hours or 3 hours before? When I was pretty young, my past life, I was involved in music. And I remember when we were at the Royal Festival Hall in England, 3 hours before, you had to be at the theater. And you were allowed to warm up for an hour. 2 hours. And after that, it's all over, you go to your dressing room. And when you pass those dressing rooms, you would hear all the singers, you would hear everyone getting ready, breathing, taking deep breaths, working the muscles to prepare for that concert. So if you don't do it now, or if you haven't done it in the past, I urge you to start doing it. It's very, very important. Also, think about what it is you want to achieve, or what it is you have achieved in the past. So go back to some of those previous presentations you had. One of the problems we as speakers have is every time we stand before an audience, we believe that we have to give a brand new speech. No. Sometimes you have had some lines that you know has worked in the past, been beautiful, well accepted. Why ignore it completely? Use it in another speech. See, when you speak in a modular manner, you can always pull pieces out and push pieces back in. So as you prepare mentally, as you prepare your presentation, think about preparing it in a modular manner. And you will find that it will help you prepare speeches much faster. You will feel like you are continuing a journey and not starting all over each and every time. Does that make sense to you? Good. Now, for those of you who want to compete at the international speech contest level or whatever, topic selection. Topic selection is so important. And whenever I think of the challenges facing topic selection, I think about American Idol. How many of you look at that program? Okay. How many of you despise Simon Cowell? You know where I'm going with this? But how many of you have really analyzed and seen the wisdom of getting honest feedback? No whitewash. Topic selection, very important. Even if the Lord is calling me now, I can't. Sorry. I forgot to take off my phone. It's me. But they'll get the message. They'll leave me a message. I'm not ready to come right now. I know I'm in pain though. Yes, topic selection, very important. I've always looked at that program, and it always appears to me that the people who select a topic, a song that is appropriate for that audience, always seem to fare much better than someone who just throws something out there. So topic selection is very, very important. You have to give it, and I believe that the best way to arrive at the topic that will work is by testing it out, especially at your club level. Which leads me to, back to the tools. You see, this is where it all begins. Can't get away from it. At the club level. So, when you look at it, you will notice that some of the speeches are you-focused. Not really audience-focused. But once you have completed the you-focused part, icebreaker, which is on you. Number 5. What is number 5? Body language, again, you. Number 6. What's number 6? Vocal variety. It's all about you. Developing the tools. And then you get down to 9 and 10 where we start talking about inspiring your audience. So I would advise you to go back to this. Pay special attention to the topic that you believe is appropriate to your audience, that will move your audience, get them to think differently, make them want to take some action. Test it out at the club level before you start moving into really working that speech to a competitive level. How many of you agree? Disagree? Have different thoughts about that? No feedback? So let's keep moving on.
So how do you find out if the topic is not? You get an evaluation of one person's opinion. But
Okay.
you want an overall audience reaction. So how do you check that out?
If you get one opinion, one person will tell you, well, I don't think so. Keep trying. Keep testing. 2, 3, there's a pattern. That's when you start looking into, well, perhaps I need to make some changes. 1 is an opinion. 2 or 3, a pattern. That's my rule of thumb. Okay? So, but testing it with people, not just in Toastmasters, but outside of Toastmasters, at work. And try, and as you test it, what I would suggest you do is you have a little notebook and you keep some notes. This is the second book I'm on. Yeah. I have something similar to this, and you just keep writing little notes. And if possible, try and change the feedback you get into power statements. Power statements, and you hold on to those power statements, and you keep using them. You keep testing them on people until you become comfortable with them. I heard a beautiful one. Good workers don't leave companies, they leave managers. Says it all. So you frame it and you take it and you find there are little books that will help you. This one I picked up from Dana Lamont. And this little book is all about just one subject. Excellence. And each one is pretty much a power statement. To excel is to do better today than you did yesterday. Power statements. Excellence demands that you do your best and not that you be the best. And when you keep repeating them, it becomes a part of you. In conversations. As Darren LaCroix used to say, you don't join Toastmasters to become a better speaker in Toastmasters. You want to become a better speaker outside. You got it? Now, I know some of you may not agree with this, but it's okay. And it's about, now you have that speech, and it's in here, and it's milling around. What do you do next? Do you just give it? Or do you write it down? Some people say write it down, some people say no, don't write it down. Some people say write, give it, record it, and then write it. What do you say?
Write it.
Write it down and then give it. I agree with you. Why? There are many reasons. And one of the main reasons is so that we go back to those 750 words, 750 to 800 words, 5 to 7 minutes. Economy of words. How you say things. See how we keep going back to those 750, 800? How you present the material to your audience in that little time frame. So I believe it is very important that you write it down. And then you try to change the words into pictures. Pictures. People tend to, and let your audience fill in the blanks. Don't give them the whole picture. Let them fill in the blanks. Okay? Why? So that you get that feedback from your audience. It's a conversation. It's a silent conversation. If I'm speaking to you and you are just nothing coming back, have you ever been in that situation? I remember once we did a concert in Vermont, and we started the concert and the audience was just like we were presenting to stones. Nothing was coming back. And the director, the person went, don't worry, you're in Vermont. We didn't understand. It was their custom to not applaud until the end of the concert. And we got this standing ovation. And we were shocked. But so sometimes it can throw you. And I did think that, we were expecting response, it wasn't coming back. Some people may have been affected a little more than others. But one of the things you look for when you're presenting and when you're on the platform is to get that silent conversation going. But don't let it throw you. But you can get it by doing a few things. You can look at somebody, make a point, and as soon as you start to get that reaction from that person, you look away. You see, the sentences, as you construct your sentence, each sentence must be constructed in a manner as if you are doing target practice. You shoot at that person and you get a reaction, I got a smile. And before he starts to feel a little uneasy, I'm speaking to somebody else. So everybody tends to feel like you're speaking to, they matter. You're speaking to everybody. And that is what you're looking for, that reaction from your audience. How are we doing so far?
Good.
Okay. So you're making every sentence a target, you're hitting your target, okay, in your practice. But there's a mistake we all make. I make it myself. It's differentiated between practice and rehearsal and drill. What do you think are the differences? You have the speech, it's written down, but it's on the paper, was in your head, you took it from the head to the paper, Now you want to get that speech ready for delivery. Okay? You don't want it to stay in your head. Because when you're actually in front of the audience, you might find yourself doing that. Give away. It's in your head. You want to work the audience. Right? So how do we get it to that point? Practice, rehearsal, and drill. What's the difference? Anybody? Nobody? Somebody?
My guess would be rehearsal would be when you take the whole speech as though you were giving it in its final product. Whereas practice might be take some of the modules that you've got in your head maybe and practice those until you're comfortable with them. And then maybe drill is, I don't know, some very small part at the beginning and the end maybe that you want to get perfect.
In the right ballpark. In the right hospital. Maybe the wrong ward. Very close though, very close, very close.
Well, I just know drill is taking the exact same movement and doing it over and over and over again until it's like automatic.
Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. And I think I got to thank Rashunda, what's her last name, for this. And she made this point very, very clear to me. Drill, actually Lance Miller is the one who said that you can practice in front of cars. What's the difference if you practice in front of cars, in front of mirrors, in front of anything or any object?
No feedback.
No feedback. Okay. Rehearsal. We just spoke about it. Yeah. It could be one person, still an audience, but you're getting something back. And drill is when you are actually trying to get that speech out of your head, or so embedded, as they call it, to make that internalize the speech. You can do it fast. Good, better, best, never let the rest until good becomes better, better becomes your best. You know, or good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good becomes your better. Better becomes your best. See? You're internalizing it. Do it fast. That's drill. The tango is often referred to as the dance of life. Why? The tango is often referred to as the dance of life. And you would never forget when you practice like that. You're internalizing. Slowly, speed it up. Different formats. So the important point I'm trying to make here is that don't just think that you can practice with no feedback and we will be ready to face an audience. But you have to get that speech out of your head and get it to a point where you're so comfortable with that material, you can just work an audience with it. Okay? And you got to test it as you practice. Again, if you get one comment, it's an opinion. Well, you should change that because you have a lot of experts out there, especially when you have a good speech. Okay? Change that. That is not working for me. Okay. One opinion. Try and test it with somebody else. Test it in another club. And you'll get an idea if this is working for the audience. Not for you. It may be working for you. But that's not where the focus should be. The focus is on your audience. Can you say it again?
Audience.
One more time?
Audience.
All right, so now we get to the big day. Delivery. And as I have here written here, you're ready. Your audience, you're ready to focus on your audience, your material, and of course, if you don't feel that you're worthy to stand in front of that audience, you also, you wouldn't be comfortable. So you have to be comfortable in front of your audience. Okay? Yes?
Yes. Yes.
You are going to want to make some changes, but after you have done all the work, don't do some of the things, the stupid things that I do sometimes, which is just in the morning or the day of the concert, just change. Just change. Right in front of the audience, because I feel like. And I've done that a few times. Once my wife, I practiced my speech in front of my wife over and over and over. And the day I got there and I looked into the audience and I just had this feeling and I changed the opening. And she looked at me like, what are you doing? It worked, but sometimes it doesn't work. So once you have everything in place and you're comfortable and you're ready to face that audience, don't start making changes. Any questions? Yes?
You're going to be doing the speech at the area, division, district levels.
Yeah.
I've understood that each speech is different at each of the levels. Can you kind of help us understand?
No, it's not today. You can use the same speech in the International Speech Contest all the way up to the regional level. In the earlier competitions, you had to do a speech up to the district level, and a new one at the regional level, and then a brand new speech at the international level. Now, you do a speech all the way up to the regional level, if you want to, semifinals, they call it semifinals. This is the regional level, basically. And then a brand new speech at the international level. Some people say you should go into the competition with 3 speeches, 3 good speeches, not just one. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Remember one time listening to Rory Baden, who said he practiced a speech several times a week for a whole year. So there were hundreds of practices.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at that, I say there is no way that I can even get to 1% of that while holding a full-time job in Silicon Valley.
I know, that's why I say it's not an easy undertaking.
So it's discouraging in some sense to understand the level of practice that's really
It does take a commitment. This is from my dear friend, Fat Dad. And this is, let's see, number what? He numbered all of his, it's something like, I can't remember what number, but anyhow, his, for his winning speech, actually, this is the plan. This is his plan. Every step, every move he was going to make on stage is right here. And I think that his version, the version he delivered was number 50-something. Version of the presentation. So it does take a lot of practice. It does take a lot of work. Yes?
I know this is a crazy question, but how do you keep from boring yourself to death doing the same speech over and over again?
You don't do that. That's what you don't do the same speech. You don't. If you do it in a modular manner, you can have the same speech going in 3 different ways. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And you know, it is, what you're trying to do is to get that speech out of your head, off the sheet of paper, and into you, into your body, mind, and spirit. Something that, you see, when you're up there, remember one thing. This is something that I think many people don't realize. When you win the international speech contest, it's just the beginning. Now everybody expects every time you open your mouth. Okay? So it is not about delivering one good speech. You get it?
Yeah.
It's not about delivering one good speech. It is about presenting, being yourself as someone who have excelled. And this is why we come back to how many years you have been in Toastmasters plus 5 to 7 minutes. Okay? 20 years, yes, you're giving them 20 years, you know, and 5 to 7 minutes. Anything else? Yes?
Can you tell us what you mean by fast food or gourmet 5-course dinner?
Okay. What do you think burgers and fries would look like in a fancy restaurant? Huh?
Fancy.
For some it will look fancy. For the kids it may look fancy.
Plates are better.
Hmm?
The plates look better.
The plates may look better.
Presentation, right?
The presentation may look better. You have to decide what it is you're going to give that audience. A 5-course meal, something that they will remember. I'm sure. How many times have you been to a fancy restaurant where you were served? Huh? Have you ever been? Fancy restaurant, served? Huh? Okay. I'm sure you remember that for the rest of your life. Huh?
Once I was.
And you remember that? You still, as if it was yesterday?
Yes.
All right.
Food was horrible, but the service was wonderful.
Oh, all right. How many times have you been to Burger King?
Lots of times.
Right. You get the point? Hmm? Yeah. It's something, it's a once in a lifetime. It's an opportunity of a lifetime to give your audience something that they will remember for the rest of their life. And you have to seize that opportunity. So don't give them fast food, I believe. Huh? Don't give them burgers, give them steak. Nicely presented. That's what I meant by that. Perhaps it could have been better, wouldn't it? But you get an idea? You get the picture? Okay. So I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to do this presentation. And I hope to see many of you out there competing. And before I close, I want to invite any of you who decide to compete to get a copy of this book. Get a copy of this book and read it. It will help you. It has helped me. Speak like Churchill, stand like Lincoln. And what I like about this book is it will show you how you can construct sentences as targets. Don't go join the NRA now.
That's a long time.
But get each sentence. You'll find out with every sentence that you develop and you design and you work on, you will see if you start developing them as targets and you start taking target practice in the room, I guarantee you, you will become a more effective public speaker. Again, I thank you.
I did a little evaluation across all the speeches, including the educational section, and the only comment that I really had for Henry was you used the term looking at a movie, and we normally say watching a movie. Looking at is not incorrect grammatically, but a movie is an active thing, and watching is something that we normally would say. Let's see. Oh, you get points for using the creative phrase "in the right hospital" when you were talking about that.
Starting with Henry, had our presentation, had a very long presentation, and really doesn't have a lot of filler words. Henry's very good at stopping and using a pause when he is thinking. I did hear a couple of you knows, and a few times you said okay to the audience, and it was always that same okay. And I don't know if that's intentional or not, but there's about 6 times. There was one when you were trying to think of a word to make that internalized. But what you do sometimes is either repeat a word or change words mid-sentence. I counted about 5 of each, where you had how often, I was, or something like this is. So you were trying to think of the word, and then you switch testing at that's something like that. I think the looking at the movie also, the grammarian noticed you first said listen, looking at the movie. So it's like you were trying to think of the word. So a few of those. But otherwise, amazing job at not using ums and ahs in your speeches.